Namaste students, how are you all? Hope all of you are well. Today we are going to discuss class 7 science chapter number 4 transfer of heat radiation topic. In the previous video I had explained you about the convection currents. In that I had already explained you about the land bridge, sea breeze, applications of convection currents like chimneys and ventilators. Now we are going to discuss about radiation. In the NCERT textbook, I have already explained you about the radiation, but today we will go a little bit deep regarding this topic. So we are moving towards the radiation of heat. What is the radiation of heat? The transfer of heat in the forms of waves from one body to another through a vacuum or a medium is called radiation. The transfer of heat in the forms of waves from one body to another body. Do you know what is waves? You might have not knowing about the wave. You have seen in the ocean and seas, you will see the waves of the water are coming. You can see these waves, the flows of water in the forms of waves. Similarly, when the light flows in the forms of waves, that time, especially when we go in the 11th standard, that time we discuss more about this topic, about the waves. Light is a wave or particle. But here we have to just understand the transfer of heat in the forms of waves from one body to another body through a vacuum or medium. See, when the light comes from sunlight, light has a property that light can travel. This is your sun, and when the sun comes from, you know very well, from the solar system and it reaches to the earth, right? So sun travels in a vacuum also. What is the meaning of vacuum? Vacuum means it doesn't have anything. Means here sound can't travel. Remember, sound can't travel in vacuum. Sound is not able to travel. Only and only light has a property that light can travel in vacuum also. So similarly, when heat is transferred from one body to another body in the forms of waves, as it travels from one body to another body through a vacuum or any medium is called radiation. What is called? Radiation. When the heat is transferred from one body to another body as in the form of vacuum or any medium, especially in the forms of traveling in the forms of waves. So if you want to write a definition, then you can write radiation of heat. The transfer of heat in the form of waves. The transfer of heat, the transfer of heat, the transfer of heat in the forms of waves, the transfer of heat in the form of waves, in the form of wave from one body to another body, from one body to another, from one body to another. The transfer of heat in the form of wave from one body to another through a vacuum or a medium, through a vacuum or a medium, through a vacuum or a medium is called what is called? Radiation. Is called radiation. So if anybody will ask you what is radiation, then you can write this: define the transfer of heat in the forms of wave from one body to another body through a vacuum or a medium is called radiation. As in the previous video I had given you an example also, that as for example early in the morning when we go outside, especially in the summer season, so you will see you feel very hot. There is no any other light which is burning you, there is no heat, but as the sunlight gives you this heat, so that's why that process is called radiation. The transfer of heat in the forms of wave. You are not able to see here light, or you are not able to touch it in the solid, liquid or gaseous form, means neither here conduction is there nor here convection is there, but the process of transfer of heat in the forms of wave from one body to another body through vacuum or medium is called radiation. Got it? So this is the reason, that's why our body gets heated when we go outside. Conduction and convection need medium. Conduction and convection need medium. So you have heard about the conduction. Conduction generally happens in the solid, right? conduction also need a medium and convection also need a medium. But if we talk about the radiation, this both requires medium. But if we talk about the radiation does not require any medium. No requirement of medium. Radiation doesn't require any medium. So conduction and convection need a medium through which the heat can be transferred, whereas radiation does not need any medium to transfer the heat. The amount of heat radiated by a body depends on its temperature, its color, and the nature of the surface. Now, if anybody will ask you how this radiation depends and what are the process and what are the nature that these radiations are depending on this factor. So you can write in your notebook also, the amount of heat is radiated by a body depends on its temperature. The amount of heat radiated by a body depends on its temperature. How much temperature is there? Early in the morning you will not feel so hot. As for example, when you woke up early in the morning at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, till 7 o'clock you will not feel so hot. Till 8 o'clock also you will not feel so hot. But when you will go at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, that time you will feel more and more hot, right? So that time we understand the amount of temperature. Why you are feeling so much hot? Because the amount of heat radiated by a body depends on its temperature. Second, its color and the nature of the surface. Its color is also very much. Which color light is there, and on which color it's falling, and which surface it is falling. So if anybody will ask you, the radiation depends upon which factor, then you can just say the amount of heat radiated by a body depends on its temperature, its color, and the nature of the surface. The amount of radiant heat absorbed by a body depends on its distance from the source of heat. How much heat is absorbed or how much distance is there from the one body to another body, it depends on that. The heat from the flame could not have reached to the bulb of the thermometer through the conduction, since air is a poor conductor of heat. It could not have reached through the convection, since convection current would carry the heat upwards. The heat was transferred through some other ways. The heat was transferred through the radiation. Radiation does not need any medium of heat transfer. The heat is transmitted from hot body in a straight line in all the direction and at a very great speed without the aid of any medium. The heat from the sun reached to the earth through the radiation. This heat is also called radiant heat. The sun's heat energy passes through the vacuum between the sun and earth and reaches to the earth. All hot objects, solid, liquid and gases, radiant heat. The amount of heat radiated by a hot body depends on its temperature, color and the nature of its surface, dull or shiny. The amount of radiant heat received by a body depends on its distance from the source of radiant heat. A body closer to the source receiving more than heat than any further away. This is why the inner planets of our solar system, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, which are nearer the Sun, are much warmer than outer planets which are further away. See, in this topic, first of all, about the radiant heat, that it depends upon the temperature. It depends upon the temperature, color, and the nature of the surface. On these three factors, especially the radiant heat depends. As for example, let's suppose here this is the sun and this is our earth. You can see here, since the radiant heat spread in all the directions. So that's why when it comes near to the Mars, Mercury or any other planet, suppose Mercury is the nearest planet. So that's why here the life does not exist, because the radiant heat is too much, it is very near to it. As for example, just suppose the kitchen and bedroom must be at a little bit distance, because the kitchen heat should not go in bedroom. Because all these radiant heats comes in the forms of waves which you can't see, but you can feel. You can feel. Here you can't see that which type of heat is coming from the sun, but you can feel, yeah, I am feeling very hot because of the radiant heat. So that's why whenever you see about the Mercury, Venus, they are nearer to the sun, so that's why they are very hot planet. Got it? So here, as already I have described you, the amount of radiant heat received by a body depends on its distance, source of radiant heat, and a body closer to the source receive more heat than the further away. So remember, if anybody will ask you how much radiant heat is going, so it depends upon these all the things. First of all, temperature means distance. How much distance? The two body distance should be there. As for example, in the conduction, it must be in the contact. As for one body and second body, they both must be in the contact. But if we talk about the convection, so as it must be upper part and it must be lower part, right? Because you can see the warm air rises up and the cool air comes down. In the convection and conduction, both they require a medium, upper part and lower part, one body and another body. But if we talk about the radiant, then radiant do not require any body or any medium. It just transfers in a straight line in all the direction, so they get this radiant heat. Now question is applications of radiation. White and light colored clothes are worn in summer because they do not absorb sunlight and hence keep us cool. Now question is, what are the applications of this radiation? Applications means uses of radiation. Can you tell me why we wear light colored clothes in the summer season? Why we wear means white color or light color, or you can say faint color. Faint means, you know the meaning of faint? Faint means fika, means very light color. Yellow color you will see in the summer season, especially the small champs wear yellow color clothes, pink color clothes. Can you tell me why they wear this type of clothes? Because in the summer season, the nature of the surface, as I have already told you, the radiation depends upon the temperature, nature and the color of the surface, color of the body, one body to another body. As you wear a light color clothes, that time your body do not get more and more heat. So white and light color clothes. Light color means pink color, yellow color, which are not dark, okay? Neither dark blue nor dark black. We must not wear black color clothes in summer season. Remember this word. So white and light color clothes are worn in summer because they do not absorb sunlight and hence keeps us cool. Worn means pehenna, okay? Means wear, past tense is worn, okay? Wear your shoes, wear your clothes, so similarly wear worn. Why in the summer season this light or white color clothes are worn? Because the light color clothes are worn in summer because they do not absorb sunlight. Light color clothes do not absorb sunlight and hence keeps us cool. So this was the first application of radiation. Second one, applications of radiation. Black and dark color clothes are preferred for winter because they absorb sunlight and hence keep us warm. Yes, we must wear dark color clothes in the winter season. Either black color clothes or dark color clothes we must wear in winter season because they absorb the sunlight, and as they absorb the sunlight, they keep our body warm. So in the winter season we require warm in our body, and in the summer season we require coolness. So that's why in the summer season we must wear light color or white color clothes, and in the winter season we must wear dark color or black color clothes. In an electric room heater, a polished reflector is provided behind the heating element to reflect radiant heat towards the flame. Have you ever seen that heater by which especially when it is too cold in any of the region areas, so you will see we require heater in our, as the heating, wherever the heater is turned nearby you will see that there is a silver color or paint color. Any painted color is there because they split the heat into all over the direction. So here, as I have told you about, in an electric room heater, a polished reflector is provided behind the heating element of reflector radiant heat towards the front. So that's especially, just suppose this is a small cylinder, 5-liter cylinder is this. Okay, in this 5-liter cylinder you will see as the heater is there na, so heater, just suppose this is heater and this is your reflecting surface. So whenever the person is sitting here, if any person is sitting here, just suppose, so this person will feel heat because this surface reflect more and more heat. That's why I told you in an electric room heater a polished reflector is provided. What is provided? A polished reflector is provided behind the heating element to the reflect radiant heat towards the front person. So this was our topic about the radiations, the applications of radiation, why do we wear light and white color clothes in summer season and black and dark color clothes in winter season. That's all for today. I hope all of you have understand. If you are having any doubt, then please drop your doubt into the comment box section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. That's all for today. Thank you very much.